All right, this is a call to order of the March 19th, 2026 Bristol Township Council meeting. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. In a moment of silence, please remember all our first responders and our armed forces protecting us every day. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I think we start with roll call, please.
Vice President Murphy,
I am present.
Mr. Antonello,
Here.
Mr. Blaylock,
Here.
Ms. Dunlap,
Here.
Mr. Glasson,
Present.
Mrs. Wagner.
Glad to be here.
Lovely. Monthly reports are available for review in the Township Manager's office. Public comments will be taken on land development and official action items, and general comments will be taken during opportunity for residents to address council. We start off the evening with presentations, and that is the retirement commendation of Lieutenant Cosgrove. I believe, huh? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Real quick.
We met,
I gotcha.
you get to say that.
Yep.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Scott.
prior to
Thanks.
tonight's-
Hey,
Good evening, everyone. Prior to tonight's meeting, the Bristol
One
Township
stroke.
Council met in executive session where items of personnel, potential litigation, and real estate were discussed.
what do you say?
Thank you.
Now, Chief Winnick?
I see that other mic up there. I hope you don't expect me to sing. Not doing it. Not doing it. Never. Not even at karaoke. Okay. Good evening, council. Members of council, residents of Bristol Township. It's my honor to stand before you tonight to recognize and celebrate the distinguished career of Lieutenant Sean Cosgrove as he retires after 31 years of honorable and dedicated service to the residents of Bristol Township. Lieutenant Cosgrove's story is one deeply rooted in his community. He was born and raised in Bristol Township. He carried that sense of pride to his commitment to his service to the country and served in the United States Air Force. After completing his military service, he continued that calling by joining the Bristol Township Police Department in 1995 as a patrolman. Over the course of his career, Lieutenant Cosgrove demonstrated unwavering professionalism, leadership, and integrity. He was promoted to sergeant, a position he held with distinction for more than 21 years, becoming the longest serving sergeant in the history of our department. That achievement alone speaks volumes about the dedication and respect he's earned with those around him. In 2022, he was promoted to lieutenant and served as the patrol commander, where he continued to lead with professionalism, integrity, and a steady presence that our officers relied upon every day. It has been a privilege serving with Lieutenant Cosgrove when he was my sergeant. During that time, he helped guide me through some tough and challenging moments in my career and in my life. His leadership was not only about supervision, it was about mentorship, support, and setting an example what it means to be a police officer. Now, Lieutenant Cosgrove always answered the call for service. I thought that was because of overtime. It wasn't. He always said, come to work hard, and Mother Bristol will take care of you. And what he didn't realize is he was taking care of Mother Bristol. Lieutenant Cosgrove's impact on this department and this community will be felt for many years to come. His legacy is reflected not only in his accomplishments, but in the officers he mentored and lived and the lives he helped shape. At this time, on behalf of the Bristol Township Police Department, we proudly recognize and congratulate Lieutenant Sean Cosgrove on his retirement after 31 years of honorable and dedicated service. Sean, thank you for your service, your leadership, and your friendship. We wish you and your family health, happiness, and all the best, and well-earned retirement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your commitment to the community over all those years. Yeah. Next up, we have the introduction of Parks and Recreation Team. Who's going to be doing that? Is that Dana? Is Dana, are you going to no, no, no. So Patrick Graham, he's our Parks and Rec Director. Welcome, Patrick.
Thank you. Truly grateful for the opportunity to serve Bristol Township and be a part of the team here. Meeting all the staff over. It's green. Got it now. Can you hear me? All right, cool. So yeah, like I said, truly grateful for the opportunity to be serving Bristol Township. Over the last few weeks, meeting all the staff has been amazing, and we really do have a fantastic team here across all the departments. I'm excited to collaborate with everyone and as well as council to provide excellent parks and recreation services to our residents. Prior to joining Bristol, I spent 11 years with Middletown Township. I started as a recreation intern and moved my way through the department on the programming side, and then before coming here was the assistant director of Parks and Recreation. That experience gave me a well-rounded foundation in financial management, event planning, capital improvement projects, and community programming. What makes this role particularly meaningful to me is my previous work as a consultant on the Parks and Recreation plan here in 2023 with Gilmore & Associates as the Certified Park and Recreation Professional Consultant. I look forward to now being in the position to help make the recommendations from that plan a reality. I'm also fortunate to be coming into this position with a fantastic team alongside of me. Nicole Tenner is our new Recreation Division Manager, and Dana Coleman, our Parks Division Manager, who was recently promoted. Thank you again for the opportunity, and I look forward to being a part of helping to continue to make Bristol Township a great place to live. With that, I'll pass it off.
Welcome, Patrick. Hi, Nicole.
Hi, how are you?
Lovely.
So I'm Nicole Tenner. I am our new Recreation Division Manager. I'm very excited to be here, very excited to take on this new role. I come from Middletown Township with 14 years of experience with summer camp, specifically that then developed into a love for community connections, recreation programming, and planning of special events. I was a former educator in the city of Philadelphia. I have a master's degree in multicultural education, so I'm excited to bring those skills here as well. I've been enjoying my first few weeks here. I've met a lot of amazing people, and I feel like it is that tight-knit family that we all need. I'm ready to dive in and join this Bristol community. I thank you, Council, as well as Randy and Heather for the opportunity, taking a chance on me, and investing in the community. Thank you.
Welcome, Nicole. And Dana. Dana got a promotion. Dana Coleman is waving. Yeah. All right. There she is. Yay, Dana, congrats. Dana's been with us, how long now? 12. Wow. Yeah. Wow, congratulations and thank you. You're awesome. That's great.
That picture, yeah, it really did. That's my favorite one. All right, great. Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Let me do this. Green light. Okay, next up is the 2025 year-end reviews and 2026 goals. We're going to hear from sewer operations, Kyle Pamakala from Infomark. Is he here? There he is.
What's going on?
No, you're not going to give your report, Kyle? Come on, these are always so exciting.
It's a joint.
Joint? Okay, lovely.
We like to say germ. Germ report. I thought there would be three of you doing it.
Oh, is that Brian as well? Hi, Brian. All right, so we're going to combine these two. Fantastic, thank you.
Tree.
Tell us all about the sewer.
You gotta push it down for green. There we go.
You want me to get on that one? We can do a duet, or?
Parks and Recs folks are so lucky to be here on sewer report night.
Okay, yes, Brian Brochon with Gilmore Associates, Township Sewer Engineer. We've got Kyle Pamakala and the rest of our team, Randy Mazer, Township Manager, Charlie Dernley, Public Works, helps out very much involved with the sewer operations. Yeah, you want to be a clicker? I'm not doing a very good job. Okay.
And what we know is Kyle makes sewer reporting fun, so
Yes, she does.
keep up the good.
You're ruining the surprise for me.
So just a quick highlight of projects from 2025 and highlights. So, many that you're already aware of, sorry. The Croydon wastewater treatment plant expansion. We're going to talk about the DEP connection management plan, known as the CMP. And then we also had sanitary sewer televising and cured in place pipelining of sewer mains. That was primarily Mr. Rehab as the contractor. Then we had 3 pump station force main rehabilitations, doing lining work. That was Mr. Rehab with the support of KEC for excavations and pipe work. So, and then we also have a couple Commonwealth grants that we were able to obtain this past year from the PA Small and Water Sewer programs. And then Kyle's going to touch on his portion with the trickling filter. So some recap of, many of you know, 2010 consent decree between the township with DEP, EPA, and the federal government requiring the township to get into compliance hydraulically and biologically with the treatment plant. And then accompanying that was DEP's connection management plan, which limited new connections to the sewer system. So the previous year, 2024, substantial completion was achieved of the treatment plant, making it functional, operational. And then this past year, all the construction contracts met final completion, and the respective maintenance periods began, and they're underway. So, I wasn't back. Sorry. Okay, got you. So along with that, the CMP, the connection prohibitions, the township sent a letter to DEP saying, okay, we met completion. We would like to be released from the CMP. That was evaluated, and DEP was inclined to provide the township basically with 90% removal from the CMP, which they left the Delaware Avenue pump station service area and the Palmer Avenue pump station service areas subject to the CMP as we work through evaluating flow data to demonstrate that those 2 pump stations are not hydraulically overloaded. So, big goal. Most of the township is obviously released from the CMP now, which is, a long time coming. Last note, just stating what the capacities of the treatment plant are now. So. Okay, so moving on to other work with the I&I program, recap from years past and then 2025 accomplishments. So Gilmore & Associates began working with the township I&I programs in late 2019, and then to date, through 2025, township spent approximately $4.7 million on I&I abatement within the Croydon service area to the treatment plant, mostly funded by grants. And I think as Steve Walsh, former engineer for the township, had demonstrated that, the township has seen up to 60% generally in subsurface areas of improvements of wet weather to wet weather flow reductions. So, they've proven to be very successful. So as of 2025, now all priority 1, which were the highest severity defects that were seen from the televising, were completed within the Croydon service area, as well as all priority 2, a little lesser severity within the floodplains. They were also addressed as of the end of 2025. So it has shown to reduce the flow at the treatment plant, upwards of a little over 500,000 gallons per day, for wet weather comparisons. So, highly successful program so far. That has resulted in, obviously more capacity at the treatment plant and reduced O&M costs, which is also another benefit. So, okay, so specifically, this is a summary of what was completed in 2025. About 12,600 feet of gravity sewers that were cured in place pipelined, They were done in the Bristol Park, Croydon Manor, Croydon Park, Delhas, FDR, and Margot Gardens subservice areas. And there's a quick summary of the footage of pipe in each of those respective service areas. Okay, so a little recap. DEP has, given 90% system release in the connection management plan. Then we also were able to help the township secure 2 grants from the Commonwealth. One for just over $490,000, and that is slated for sewer main rehab, cured in place pipelining of sewer mains, and those are going to be done in the Lower Bucks County Joint Municipal Authority and the Bucks County Water and Sewer Authority tributary area to the Neshaminy Interceptor. And the other grant is for close to $460,000, and that's for lining of the Keystone Pump Station force main. So as for physical work that was also completed, Mr. Rehab did a smart pigging and geolocating of the force mains for the Delaware Avenue Pump Station force main, Palmer Avenue force main, and the Silver Lake Pump Station force main. That was earlier in the year, and then in December, after working through design and layout with Mr. Rehab, Mr. Rehab was able to successfully line the 2 pump station force mains at Delaware Ave and Silver Lake. And like I said, KEC was the contractor who supported with excavations and reconnections to the physical pipe. The 3rd pump station, Palmer Avenue force main, a portion of that runs under the railway, and we submitted a permit to enter application to Amtrak. This is a long process, I've heard, which I guess the township's experience with Randall Avenue Bridge, which I've heard about, which is great that it's open. So those are the main accomplishments that I wanted to touch on that were completed this past year. And these are just some photos with some of those areas. With that, I'll turn it over to Kyle, and then we'll talk about 2026 goals.
What's that? I was getting a call. So this is what we'd like to call failure. So I know last year I promised it was the year of the trickling filter, but it wasn't. So what we did here, next to the U on the left there, you'll see there's Bondo on the, it's a very nice song. So we were trying to think of ways to patch holes, right? It's galvanized steel. You don't want to weld on it. Plus it's 20 feet in the air, and there's no power anywhere nearby. So how would you do that? So initially we glued wood to it, but as you know, wood swells and breaks down over time. And then my lead mechanic had this genius idea, well, why don't we just use Bondo? And now here we are. So instead of spending $23,000 to get plates welded on it, we spent $78 at Home Depot. And yeah, so. Yeah, it's a year of cheap body work by Infomark, so. What's that? No, so this one, I think it was 1988. I was 2. I'm just stating facts, I'm sorry. If you look in the lower left there, so I couldn't get a picture. We also replaced the seal. This is all on the same trickling filter. We were trying to do one at a time. So we call that a mass tub, and it's about 30 inches in diameter, and it rotates. So it uses hydraulic power from the water to force it to spin around. There's a seal inside of there, and that decided that it didn't want to seal anymore, so it was spraying water everywhere, so we're not getting good treatment. So that's what that picture is to the left there. No, the is the unpainted Bondo. So yeah. So we can move on from this. So this was another project we did. So here is a sludge recirculation pump. It's a centrifugal pump. So it has a motor, which is all the way at the end, and then a coupling in the middle where that square. Does this have a laser on it? I'm not calling you a liar, but it doesn't. Anyway, in the middle there's a square with a warning sign on it. That's where your coupling is, and it connects to the pump. So inside of that pump, all the way to the right, you'll see something shiny. That's the seal that keeps the sludge in the pump, doesn't allow it to come out, because if it does, we got to clean it up. And it's sludge.
You can use Brian to be your Vanna.
Would you? No, you don't have to. So I'm proud of my mechanics for doing this, because it's not easy. We have what's called a CPE 442C. I know it's just numbers and letters, but it's a code or something, I don't know. But it's a split seal, so you don't need to pull the pump to install the seal. You can keep it installed and save money that way. And then also, you'll see the copper piping, so they didn't have a seal flush on them. So these seals have a graphite seal. I know I'm saying seal a lot, not like the Singer, but like what's inside of a pump. And they need to keep cool because graphite's very fragile. And we didn't have that originally, so we installed, my lead mechanic actually tapped into the water line that we have in the digester building and proceeded to build this wonderful state-of-the-art water thing. We can move on from that. Nope. So it's a seal flush that keeps the seal cool, and it flushes out any, if the seal starts failing and we get a little bit of debris in there, thank you. It'll wash it out because it's a machine surface, and any sort of imperfection will cause it to leak. Now you'll notice that the thumb has made its cameo again this year. So to the left, that's what's currently in place, and we use that to pump up water from I don't know what the hell it's called, but I can't think. Anyway, it takes the water down and moves it up. It's a Godwin pump, it's 12-inch. It's very expensive to have Godwin come out and repair it. So this year, we're going to try, and by try I mean we are going to install to the right there is a Gorman-Rupp style pump. So it's a lot simpler, it's a lot cheaper, and we can do the maintenance on it. Whereas this one to the left has its own compressor, it's a mess, it's very expensive. So for half the price of a new Godwin, we got one new 12-inch pump along with stuff to rebuild it. So every 5 years it'll need to be rebuilt instead of every 3. These pumps, they're good pumps. I don't want to bash Godwin pumps, they're just expensive. You know, they've been there 15 years, so.
They're good pumps, but they're not the same pump they were when they were
Yeah.
privately owned.
When they got bought out by Xylem, it's.
That's correct.
Yeah,
It's a different product now.
It's been a nightmare.
Yep, I know.
So fun fact, did you guys know, everybody out there, that a pump and an airplane have a lot in common? Yeah, the Bernoulli effect, Daniel Bernoulli. Sounds Italian, but he's Swiss, I promise. There is a formula for it, I don't know it. It's like P plus half PVH squared plus PGH equals constant or something. I don't know. Something like that. But anyway, so, how many people here fly? I don't fly, I'm terrified of it, as much as I am of public speaking, but, so you guys fly. So, you guys know how an airplane works? I know we're supposed to talk about sewer, but. Why would you jump out of a perfectly good airplane?
We all know how, but I think if you would tell us, it'd be better.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
okay, good.
So, like a 737 reaches about 188 miles an hour. So the wind going over the wing catches up with the wind going underneath the wing, and it has to slow down, thus creating lift and lifting up, picking up the plane. So the faster you go, the higher you go, to some degree. Hair loss? Oh, it's like, wow, going right for the jugular. But how a pump works that way, a pump has an impeller, and inside the impeller it has veins on it. So imagine, remember the slap chop? Remember that guy? No, the slap chop? No, no. Like a blender. So imagine a blender. So as that turns, it creates a little bit of suction there, and it spits it out. But different shapes of different, I'm not very good at explaining things, but yeah, we'll get there. We're taking a scenic route tonight. The boss. All right, I'm done. Now you know. Yeah, you can Google it when you get home or ask ChatGPT. So anyway, so this is the amount of work we did last year. We did 3,377 work orders, most of them PM. Just because it's water doesn't mean it's not destructive, because moving water is probably the most destructive force on Earth. And unfortunately, it's not just water. We have solids and stuff to deal with. Moving on, I know there was a poll last year. This is not the one that everyone wanted, but you're getting it anyway. So as you can see, we had 7 violations last year, mostly due to wet weather. So with the downside to having trickling filter plants, even though it is cheap to run, they tend to wash out. So when we get these quick thunderstorms that last 20 minutes or so, it washes all the bacteria, all the snails and nematodes, yes, they're a real thing, and all of the solids out. So 95% of our violations were percent removal, which is CBOD5, carbonaceous biological oxygen demand. So stuff. We didn't remove it very well because it gets flushed out at the back. We can keep this going. So to wrap things up, continue with Delaware Ave and Palmer Avenue pump station flow evaluations to achieve complete removal of the CMP. Continue efforts to obtain Amtrak approval, if it's only been 3 years. Force main lining for the Palmer Avenue pump station be performed by Mr. Rehab with the support of Key Seifert. SIP lining of priority 1 gravity sewer mains within service areas tributary to Bucks County Water Sewer Authority, the Chamonix Interceptor, and Lower Bucks Joint Municipal. Acquired grant funds. Force main lining for the Keystone Pump Station. Design and installation of the Croydon wastewater hoist system for removal of pumps. I don't know what that word is. Evaluation of all township pump stations with Infomark. That's me. No wastewater treatment plant permit violations, safety violations, or unsolicited discharges. Continued collaboration with Bristol Township staff to improve the sanitary sewer infrastructure, enhancing system reliability and supporting community that residents are proud to call home. And before I leave, I just want to say thank you to the board. Thank you to my boss, of one of many. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Kurt. Thank you, William. Thank you to all my guys. I get to stand up here and make a donkey out of myself, but it's because of them that I get to do that. They do all the work. Thanks to my little boo-boo Charlie, who's not here tonight, but him and Public Works make my life infinitely easier. I call, and they are always willing to help.
Oh,
so.
that's nice to hear. Well, thank you. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you,
Never
Kyle.
take your sewers for granted. That's right. I hear somebody applauding. There you go. Yeah. And just when you thought you heard it all, we're going to hear from engineering. John Sheltons from Gilmore and Associates. Come on down. Hi, John.
Hello. Does this, let's see if it works or not.
All I know is there better be an airplane metaphor.
Might be disappointed.
It's okay. This is just job security for me. Wasn't on there.
Okay.
Well,
Sorry.
I've been replaced.
Good evening, Council. I'm John Schultens, representing Gilmore & Associates, the Township Engineers for Bristol Township. Tonight, I'll be going over the 2025 year-end review and 2026 look ahead.
John, is this your first presentation to us?
Second one.
Second, okay.
So, starting off with the 2025 road program, we had 15 township roads paved in 2025, which is about 4 miles total of roadway, at a cost of just over $728,000. Since the start of the road program back in 2012, we had 633 total roads paved, which is roughly 161 total miles of roadway paved, which is incredible to say out loud. Since that time, the road program cost is just over $24 million in total. Moving on to the 2025 curb ramp program. In 2025, we had 54 total curb ramps installed within the township at 14 different intersections. Since the start of the curb ramp program in 2017, there were 934 total curb ramps installed at 396 intersections. Since the start of that program, the total cost has been around $4.5 million. And we see some photos of during the construction and installation of the curb ramps. Moving on to Randall Avenue Bridge of the capital improvement projects. So I'm happy to say in the beginning of this year, the never-ending saga of the Randall Avenue Bridge was completed. Definitely deserves the applause for that. So the phase 2 work commenced during 2025, and that focused heavily on the structural repairs of the bridge for the stability and safety. The first step of the phase 2 repairs was to install temporary fencing along the underside of the bridge to keep the pedestrians away and allow the crews to go and operate beneath spans 1 and 3. One of the most significant tasks of phase 2 was the installation of the carbon fiber reinforced concrete jackets on the abutment faces on the underneath of the bridge. So one of the most, important parts of the carbon fiber jackets is the modern strengthening technique to increase the durability of the structure which they're applied and decreasing the need for major demolition. So it was a perfect scenario for our repairs. Also during the construction, we had the installation of new wing walls and cheek walls on the side of the bridge. Those required full new structures to be installed due to the poor condition that they were in previously. Due to the bridge's bearing plates also needing to be replaced on the underneath of the bridge, temporary supports need to be installed to have the beams lifted. So one of the most, carefully sequenced operations for this part was the actual shifting of the weight for the bridges onto the temporary supports to then remove and replace the old bearing plates and install the new ones. So after the structural work was completed, we moved on to the restoration and roadway focus portion of the repairs. That included new curbs, sidewalks, handrail, guide rail, fencing, paving, and striping to be installed on the bridge. And I would say one of the most key parts of coordination towards the end of the repairs was the coordination with PECO to install the gas main on the bridge. This work happened simultaneously to the other work being done to avoid any future disruptions in that area for the Randall Ave. This is certainly a great achievement to have completed, as you all would probably agree. Next, we have just some photos from the previously existing conditions. On the left, you see a major crack along the top beam, along with some very noticeable chunks of concrete missing. And as you know, the chunks of concrete were previously falling onto the Amtrak lines below the bridge. So that was certainly something to address quickly. Next, you see the glaring holes through the bridge, and that was definitely a shocker to see when going to drive over a bridge, to see holes in it. On the right, you see a photo of the erosion just from over time and all the concrete that just actually got deteriorated from the erosion. The whole bridge was essentially similar to this photo, just eroded away. Next, we have the abutment walls. So as I was stating before, the carbon fiber reinforced jackets were applied to the abutment faces to increase the durability. So the top photos are the finished product of the abutments, and the bottom ones are where they were actually applying the jackets to the abutment and then painting over that. On the left photo, we have the new bearing plates, and as I mentioned, that was during the process of them shifting the weight onto the temporary supports to remove the old rusted bearing plates and install the new ones. And on the right photo, you see a little portion of the new sidewalk and a small portion of the new abutments, and most importantly, no holes in the bridge anymore. These last two photos are the finished product on the top side of the bridge from the north side and south side approach. The north side is taken from the Penn Ave side, and the south side is from North Radcliffe Street. Next, we have, of the capital improvement projects, the Senior Center. So recently, the Senior Center grand opening was held earlier this month in March 2026. The facility, of course, was installed with the township's seniors in mind to install multiple recreational areas, a brand new kitchen, and improved meal delivery, loading and driveway areas for them. The building also features upgraded ADA facilities in the building, as well as a secure vestibule and reception area. Additionally, there was extended storage also included, as well as an office space just for the daily operations of the Senior Center. Gilmore Associates' role in the project was to handle survey, design, permitting, bidding, construction observation, observation for special testing and inspections, as well as project coordination, and any coordination for design changes that occurred during the construction, along with construction administration and construction management through the entire process. And on the right, you see a photo of the Senior Center from the grand opening. Next, we have the capital improvement projects of the fire station. This is a phase 2 of the Senior Center and Fire Station 2-phase project. Phase 2 was the construction that is currently ongoing of the expansion for the existing fire station. The 6,400 fire station expansion includes new offices for the fire department, as well as a fire truck and facility storage area. The Gilmore Associates provided also survey and design services, as well as permitting, bidding, and are continuing to provide construction observation, testing, also inspections, as well as construction administration for the remainder of phase 2. Next, we have the ordinances, subdivision, and land development section. So the Gilmore Associates will continue to monitor the township ordinances to ensure that they're still meeting the state and federal regulations, and they're still maintaining compliance with those. Our role is also to review the submitted plans to make sure they comply with township ordinances, also to make sure that they're actually constructible, and most importantly, to make sure the impact of the project does not negatively affect the health, safety, and welfare of the township residents. In 2025, we had 15 new land development reviews come in, and there were 4 previously started land developments completed. Also, there were 16 during active construction. We always aim to be developer-friendly, of course, in the township to promote growth and increase revenues for the township. A goal is always to continue working with the great township staff in order to help streamline the process of land development in any way we can. For the land development projects, Gilmore Associates sends out construction observers to be on site. They are to obtain measurements on site and also report any site progress in their daily field reports. Gilmore Associates observers are essentially on site to be the eyes of the township when no one else is out there, to ensure that not only the approved plans are being followed, but also the township ordinances. This past year, we had our observers go to 123 different sites and create a total of over 1,000 daily field reports. Yes, certainly is. Next, on to everyone's favorite subject, MS4 updates. So just a reminder, MS4 is a federal unfunded mandate set under the Clean Water Act. Every municipality that has an MS4 system is issued a 5-year DEP permit. We submit an annual report every year for inspections, maintenance, as well as compliance to DEP. Because of the waterways in the township are considered to be impaired, we have to complete the pollutant reduction plan, PRPs. Each MS4 helps us achieve the sediment and nutrient reduction rates needed to maintain the compliance for MS4. As part of our efforts to make the reductions of sediment, our Plumbridge Bioswale project in Mill Creek just received DEP approval and is actually working towards construction. Next, we are actively pursuing a private-public partnership in the Croydon Run area to reduce both the pollutant reduction credit as well as reduce flooding in that area. So they're both simultaneously happening in that Croydon Run area. DEP is also preparing new regulations for MS4, expected to be implemented within the next 2 years. And these new requirements would add volume-based requirements to the essential requirements that we need to address, as well as not just the current pollutant-based requirements. So I'll say that again, they're adding requirements for the volume-based and not just the current pollutant-based requirements. So that is certainly something to look forward to, more requirements. So as we prepare for the new requirements, it's worth noting that the township has been in compliance with MS4 since 2003. So as we move on from 2025, we take a look at 2026, starting with the township roadway and stormwater infrastructure. The 2026 road program is projected to have 40 roads paved in the township, which is just over 12 miles of roadway. The 2026 curb ramp program is projected to have 113 new ADA curb ramps installed, and I would like to mention that is more than double of what was installed in 2025. As I just discussed, we will continue the MS4 compliance and PRP projects to meet the target reduction rates. And some of the anticipated project involvement includes the closeout of the Phase 2 for the fire station expansion, as well as a due diligence and feasibility study for a potential Haynes Road Bridge. Gilmore & Associates will continue to assist the township in grant applications, as well as any park improvements for various facilities throughout the township. So, on behalf of Gilmore & Associates, thank you, Council, for your continued support of all these projects, and thank you, township staff and management, for creating such a great team to work with every day. Thank you.
Well done, John. Well done. Thank you. Riveting. A lot of good stuff. So we're on item number 6, consent agenda. So consider approval of voucher list and requisitions dated March 19th, 2026 in the amount of $3,033,649.18. And consider approval of February 19th, 2026 council meeting minutes. Need a motion? From Mary Ann Wagner,
I'll second it.
seconded by Joe Glasson. On the motion, any questions? All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Lovely. Report from our township manager, Ms. Mazer.
Thank you, Vice President Murphy. Because we were a little short on agenda items tonight, I just wanted to do a comprehensive, more detailed report that will probably be quicker than all 3 of the reports that previously just occurred. I know. They'll learn. Okay, so our yard waste collection begins April 6th. We are going to work with our grant coordinator to apply for yard waste cans. Our spring cleanup is May 2nd from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. In our police department, the drug take-back day is April 25th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. On our next council agenda meeting night, we will have retirement of one of our canine officers, Canine Axel. He'll be in with Corporal Bausch. There will also be a presentation from the VFW that raised funds for the canine unit. And just ongoing, as you heard last year from the police department, we're implementing our PAL program. We kicked it off with a kickball tournament October of last year and basketball January of this year, and look forward to seeing this grow. 2 canines have been donated to the township, the police department, by Carol, who co-owns and runs Throwaway Dogs Project. Both will be introduced at a later council meeting upon completion of training. We have Canine Kenzo with Officer Shop and Canine Coda with Officer Nowicki. Our finance department sent out the real estate and county tax bills. They were mailed out in the beginning of March. They were a little late coming from the county this year, but they have been mailed out. We have a accountant position open in our finance department that is still on our website for availability to apply. As you've heard from many, this is a great place to work. Everybody should apply. And we're currently going through our Open Gov, our financial system. We're changing over to a more 21st century financial system that'll then have real estate taxes as well as sewer utility and budgeting and asset management. Just wanted to point out that this is the last year that we will have our state and local Fiscal Recovery Act funds to supplement our budget with projects. Since 2021, we used $2.4 million in revenue replacement. We gave $1.8 million to the 5 volunteer fire companies and 2 rescue squads so that we didn't have to increase taxes during the COVID time period. And we have used over $5 million for most of the projects that Brian was talking about for our sanitary sewer, and a little bit over $2 million for our storm sewer upgrades. This is all to help reduce I&I in both areas, and we have about $3 million worth of projects to complete that have to be completed by the end of December 31st, 2026. And then we'll just have to look for more funding, because that was a total of, excuse me, $15.8 million that we used wisely. Some of the projects going on, as everybody's aware, hopefully, of the River Road Trail project. We've been working with Pennsylvania Environmental Council, with the D&L Trail, with East Coast Greenway. We received grants for design from DVRPC, from DEP. We just received a $2.2 million grant from TASA for the construction of it. We have about $75,000 that we're applying for now to finish the final design for the River Road Trail, which will start up from where the Wawa is on State Road and go up through River Road in the right-of-way on Pico property with a license up to Mary Devine Elementary School. And then the goal is to bring it up, continue on, come down for Fifth Avenue, and eventually come to State Road and take it through to Ben Salem. We're still in design.
I think it's a 2026 that it'll start the actual
Construction, probably not till 2027.
7. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. The D&L crossings, we received a grant with Falls Township, a feasibility study for 3 intersections at the D&L crossings, at 13, at Haynes, Edgeley, and Airport roads. Right now, we're applying for a grant to submit for design cost for these crossings. The Levittown Trail is a county trail project, Bucks County Planning Commission, for a construction of a 10-foot wide trail that extends from Levittown Parkway to Mill Creek Parkway, which would be about 1.5 miles. Going over, we also received a grant from DCNR for $300,000, and we'll use the remaining funds from our community block grant program for revitalization of Gordon Acres Park, which will be a little over $600,000. The Martha Miller Center on Schumacher Road. We're still working with Ivan's Outreach Center and Bristol Township School District for on the 21st Century Grant for an after-school enrichment program. The play structure that we use CDBG funds for COVID will be installed later this summer. And Heather just was out there today working with for final building renovations and final fit out for the after-school enrichment program. Talked about the senior center and the fire station, just give some relative costs. The cost for both projects, I haven't gone in and dived to see what is senior center, what is fire station. So since they were bid together and the costs are together, just quickly, right now $11.2 million for both of these projects. That includes site work and everything. $6 million in grants. We took out a $11 million loan back in 2018. So currently we have $5.2 million to reallocate for other projects. The interior, as John had stated, is completed for the senior center. We need some final paving on the parking lot, some grass growth, a few minor items. Fire station working on the addition, and then the interior fit out, and that should be completed by the end of the summer. Cost for the Randall Avenue Bridge, Phase 1, we received a $975,000 grant. Haynes and Kibble House was out there. Their total contract costing for the rehab was $1.1 million. So just spent on actual construction cost a little over $200,000 more than our grant gave us. For Phase 2, we received a $2 million grant. Loftus's contract came in a little over $2 million and then was underrated and came back as a total of $1.9 million. So we spent less than the grant funding that was received. Our soft costs on that project with Amtrak and construction observation and design and coordination is probably closer to $3 million. So almost as much to construct and revitalize is for the soft costs as well. NTM is out there. They are the PennDOT inspectors or consultants for PennDOT to do a final inspection and a re-rating of the bridge. And that's hopeful. They're working with Amtrak, so they're hopeful they'll get out there in a couple months. Haynes Road Bridge, as been talked about, that's on the tip for $1.2 million in preliminary design. We had to go out for an RFP for design and engineering services. Those proposals were due March 16th. Both our civil engineer and our traffic engineer both applied, so that shall be fun. $5 million was received from Congressman Fitzpatrick for the Haynes Road Bridge to start up. State Road Reconstruction, we've been working with them, and they took over about a half mile of trail that we were going to be building for the River Road Trail. With their reconstruction, they're able to do a lot of that work. 721 Emily Road, the former Bark Building, been still working with the school district because they had that deed restriction on there that they get the they get the right of first refusal. And so speaking with the school district, they are going to be lifting that deed restriction and letting the township sell the property. And we are in a cooperation agreement with the RDA for the sale of that property. As it was mentioned earlier, we have force main and sanitary main projects, DCD grants. We're moving forward with our curb ramps, our road paving. The reason we're increasing curb ramps is because we're going to be using some CDBG funding, which is a eligible cost, and we need to spend some of our funding in that area. Additional funding was received from Congressman Fitzpatrick's for the EDI CPF 2026 awards. 2 of them were within the township properties, United Way of Bucks County and Family Service Associations, which is the homeless shelter. So they will be making upgrades to the properties as well. And then this year we submitted recently and ongoing submissions for 2027 EDI funding for the Haynes Road Bridge and for the volunteer fire companies' stations upgrades and renovations. We're ongoing with our CDBG program. There's a action plan, public hearing, March 27th. We're finalizing our CDBG program to go to our consultant. We have an RFP out for a program inspector, and we're finalizing for emergency repairs program. We're hoping to get that out soon so that we can start helping our residents that are in need. And finally, we have our, we have met and we're going to be applying for our phase 2 of our 5-year financial plan for the STAMP phase 2 grant, and that would be for records management. We've been in conversations with Laserfiche and Scantech. So just wanted to while we had some time, give a very brief and quick overview of some of the highlights that we're still working on.
Is that it?
Those are the highlights.
Yeah, I just want to go like about halfway through. I thought I heard working with Falls Township, a path, Levittown Parkway to Mill Creek Parkway, which to me, they intersect. I don't understand.
Yeah, there were 2 different grants. So we're working with Falls Township on 6 crossings for the D&L Trail. 3 are in Middletown, or 3 are in Falls, and 3 are in Bristol. Yeah. And then the Levittown Trail is actually Bucks County Planning Commission, and that goes from Mill Creek up towards Levittown Parkway. That had nothing to do with Falls.
So am I wrong? Mill Creek and Levittown Parkway.
Or did I say the wrong word?
Yeah, intersect. So,
just kidding, Haynes Road.
thank you. All right. That one stuck. All right. Well, thank you very much for that detailed information. I know it was a brief overview, but it really hit just how much is going on in Bristol Township right now.
And I have just one more thing. So I thought it was on Tuesday, but actually Saturday will be 10 years here for me in Bristol Township.
Oh, lucky us. Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you very
lovely.
much. Appreciate all the support and help.
All right, moving on. Township Solicitor.
Thank you, Vice President Murphy. I have no report for the board this evening.
bless
Council,
you.
excuse me.
Thank you. So we're on to new business. And we have a tax assessment appeal settlement stipulation for 7200 Marion Avenue, Levittown 19055. Consideration to take appropriate action. Who might have a little bit of
That would be
insight?
me.
Thank you.
So this is an interesting one. In addition to being a settlement, which will result in a raise in the real estate taxes of this property, there's also an ask for sort of a compromise for back taxes. So a little bit of the history of this. This was a settlement that was originally proposed in 2017, and somehow it never got finalized at that time properly, largely because the property has changed hands 3 or 4 times since then. So when the tax bills finally happened, the new owners weren't aware of the settlement increasing their taxes, so there's 1 year of back taxes that was sent to the Tax Claim Bureau. It was up for sale. Between the three entities, it's about $175,000. That's inclusive of interest since 2017, so it wasn't all the tax money. So they are asking, they want to pay about a third of that at 50%, which will get a proportional share. So it would be, we get about $4,000 or $5,000 on what would have been tax plus interest, about $15,000. So they're just asking for a minor compromise since there was, 2 or 3 owners removed who should have been the ones paying for it. So both the county and the school district have already signed off on it. So they're ready to move forward, and we would just be the last
We
person.
need to be the last.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
All righty, motion from Patrick Antonella. Second from Marcia Dunlap. On the motion, any questions? Do we have to call the board? All in favor? Oh, beautiful. So she was like, what? All right, on to other business. Is there any other business? All right. Comments from council members. And lastly, opportunities for residents to address council. First up on the list is one Paul White. Come on up. Hello. Paul, you just need to state your name and address. Thanks.
Address too?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening. Now we're on. Hello, my name is Paul White. I'm a Croydon resident, and I'd like to talk to council about our judges. In our most recent election, we cast our votes on the enforcers of our written laws, our county judges. We all received the same 2 pieces in the mail, one pandering for a yes vote, the other for a no vote. I don't know about you folks or the other people in this room, but I'm so doggone tired of voting for judicial ghosts that I know absolutely nothing about. The electoral process of voting for America's judges should not be as invisible to the general public as it is. We have highly publicized and televised debates for our mayors, our governors, our presidents, and probably for the dog catcher in Mayberry. But here's the problem. They only make the rules that we're supposed to obey. They don't enforce them. That's where America's judges come into play. The courtrooms in America are where we get down to real business. It's where the lofty-sounding words take on meaning. It's where the rubber meets the road. And I'm supposed to cast my best educated voting guesstimate on who I feel is going to excel in the trustworthy and virtuous position of judge? Come on. Look, I understand why this is, but I surely don't like it. Judicial candidates in Pennsylvania are bound by the strict ethical rules outlined in the Code of Judicial Conduct. These rules prevent them from making promises on how they'd rule on specific issues or cases. They're supposed to project impartiality. Because of that, debates in the traditional sense where candidates spar over issues are virtually non-existent. I have to assume this is a nationwide practice in states like Pennsylvania where judges are elected and not appointed, and it's a practice that desperately needs to be changed. While it's nice to know about a judge's qualifications, their endorsements, and their philosophy, even those broad strokes of the brush are damn hard to find for the average voter. Because we don't have televised judicial debates, we're relegated to vote for this crucial elected position based on the tiny stream of information provided by the Bar Association ratings, published voter guides, and smaller forums, such as the ones provided by the League of Women Voters, and smaller forums, such as the ones, provided by the League of Women Voters. Look, I've got laundry to do, a truck that needs to get inspected, and a job I have to go to. You have your own job, your kids to get off to school, and soccer games to attend later in the afternoon. These mere last-minute trickles of information are just way too easy to miss if you're not specifically hunting for them. What a crappy way to be an informed voter. Being an informed voter for me means that I want to know a potential judge's position on abortion, on gun control, on border security, on foreign aid, on capital punishment, on immigration, on the myriad of things that speak to the morality of the one that I'm going to cast either a yes or no vote for on a position that's going to be held for the next 10 years. I'm so very sick and tired of the unrelenting light sentencing and criminal recidivism that is plaguing America in nearly every major city and little hamlet across this nation. It shouldn't take 6 DUIs, for instance, to realize that we have a problem. And it shouldn't take a judge's or a prominent politician's own loved ones as the next victim to make the news and then start changing things. I want to be able to confidently and rightfully choose with conviction just as strong of a leader in the local courtroom as I do in the White House. And the current methodology has my hands tied behind my back. It needs to change. Folks, they say democracy starts at home, and that's why I'm here tonight, asking my local officials to please think about my words today and ask yourself and your peers, isn't there a better way to elect our judges? Can't we do better to inform the public more about the person behind that judicial robe? And can't we provide some real word meaning to that noble sounding word that we all hold dear to our hearts, transparency? Council, I respectfully thank you for your time this evening.
And next up, we have Mr. Wes Rexler. Sorry about that, Wes.
Apparently, he knows nothing about how the judges are put in a position up in the county.
That's a tough act to follow, though, Wes.
But I can tell you how they're put in a position. But I ain't gonna go into that because I got too much of my own here. I put a lot of complaints in to L&I. I got 3 that I put in the last week by phone now, not in written form. They'll go in written form tomorrow. One of them was today about one of the people on my street, 513 Western, putting on a new roof. I thought you had to have a permit to put a new roof on. And if he did, I didn't see nothing hanging in the window. And I called about it. And all day I didn't see an inspector's truck go up and down the street. Which brings me to the basic idea again that I've been talking about for 6 months. So now I want a written answer as to why I can't do a PowerPoint demonstration on this. Then you'll see all the different violations, ordinance violations and so forth on my street. Next thing is that I'll advise anybody right now, if they want to put any legal papers in reference to things that they have going on in the township and they don't like, and the township management is doing nothing about, I'm well versed in filing all the legal papers. If you want, you can come and see me. I'm at 504 Western. Next thing is, the township license and inspection seems to have a selective idea of how they prosecute things. They only prosecute people in the court system selectively, and they only go out and do anything about what's going on selectively. As for an example, the guy that lived on Wood Street that had the flags, he was in here at the last meeting, and they came to my property and took my possessions and took vehicles that were registered and insured. And Randy said first they had a warrant, then she said they had a court order. So I asked her to produce that, and so far I've gotten neither one. And the guy that towed them is sitting, a member of your council, Raymond Blaylock, who refused to allow you to go in and get your belongings out of those vehicles also. And sat there, now he's got a comment right now, which he won't say nothing about, but he had a comment before about, oh, thief, he's talking about me. Okay, so, well, how many seconds I got left? 30 seconds? That's all right, I'll give it up, unless you want to give me answers. There's plenty of questions in there. And you ain't got to look very far for them. Have a good night.
Thanks, Wes. Have a good night.
Oh, and the lawyer's sitting right here. I'm sure he has answers too.
All right, we'll entertain adjournment.
I'll make that motion.
Marion Wagner. All in favor, let's, aye, all righty. Good night, everyone, thank you.